are free to believe whatever you want to believe. What I have come to understand is that we have been lied to about everything. I've said many times before that we don't even truly know what year it is. That's just the reality we live in. For years, no, decades, I have been extremely interested in ancient history. I used to say that there really was no useful reason for me to look into recent history, as in the past 300 to 400 years, especially American history, because what was served to me in my formative years via public education was, as many can testify, 30 parts as boring as watching sap roll down a tree, 30 parts outright ridiculous stories, and 40 parts, well, those 40 parts were just obviously missing, which made all of it feel like a giant waste of time. What I have learned since allowing myself to question recent history is that in many ways I was really wrong. All throughout ancient history I found cover-ups, obfuscations, blatant lies, and obvious fraudulent representations of what was observably, scientifically, and provably real. I wrongly concluded that the lies about the recent history were simply superficial, tedious, and not worth exploring any further. I was wrong. Then I remembered reading about America during the very initial explorations of Europeans, from the east to the west coast and as far south as South America. Those explorations, I kept coming across priests that traveled with the soldier speculators. Let's be real, that's what they were. And intermixed with their chronicles of barbaric murder and plunder, they would continually mention the vast, complex, and beautiful cities and architecture that they would encounter all throughout the Americas, to include North America. They would record several times their complete and utter shock and awe in finding buildings, temples, and palaces that rivaled, and in some cases eclipsed, the grandeur of those of Rome. They even noted how very similar the architecture was to that of the Greeks and Romans. This architecture was found from coast to coast. The big historic problem with these observations is that the architecture, just like the pervasiveness of megalithic pyramidal structures, appears all over the world, including where no Roman or Greek ever set a foot. You can believe the current narrative if you would like to. You can believe that the buildings that you have just seen, and many more, were always schools, courthouses, state houses, churches, museums, or grand entertainment halls if you would like to. Just remember that you will have to accept that somehow they did it all the way around the world and in almost every country. You'll also have to figure out why they suddenly stopped doing it and never did it again. There is a lot more to it that makes no sense at all. I will tell you quickly that I do not believe the current narrative, not one bit, and I believe that the reality behind it is far more impactful and incredible than I'm willing to go into at this time. Just open your eyes and look. What this realization leads to explains a lot that I thought would never be explained. Like I said, take a look. Think for yourself, everybody. All right. One love.